Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. This is your host, Ryan Kennedy, and today's episode is going to be short and sweet. I want to share with you one of my favorite anecdotal stories on the power of perspective. I got a question in from one of our listeners this past week about my perspective on a couple of different things going on in the world. And, it obviously was related to health and some of the different things that are being, really pushed on our public. And it got me thinking about this concept of perspective. And I've been studying a lot more Stoic philosophy lately. And it made me want to record this because our perspective is one of the most powerful things in our lives. And it can be a very positive and empowering thing, provided we have a positive outlook on life, but it can also really tie us down and dictate our levels of happiness. And, a lot of things that happen to us are neutral, but it's really our perspective on those things, whether they be our environment, whether they be actions of others, that determines how we're going to respond, how it's going to make us feel. And, as we roll into the holidays, I thought it was really timely to share this little anecdotal story because it's all too easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more money, more material possessions. Obviously with Christmas, there's a lot of gifting and receiving of different things. And so my hope with this story is that it serves as a powerful reminder on what really matters in your life. All right. So one day, a wealthy father took his son on a trip to the country for the sole purpose of showing his son how it was to be poor. They spent a few days and nights on the farm of what would be considered a very poor family. After their return from the trip, the father asked his son how he liked the trip. "It was great, Dad," the son replied. "Did you see how poor people can be?" the father asked. "Oh, yeah," said the son. "So what did you learn from the trip?" asked the father. The son answered, "I saw that we have one dog and they have four. We have a pool that reaches to the middle of our garden and they have a creek that has no end. We have imported lanterns in our garden and they have stars at night. Our patio reaches to the front yard and they have a whole horizon. We have a small piece of land to live on and they have fields that go beyond our sight. We have servants who serve us, but they serve others. We buy our food, but they grow theirs. We have walls around our property to protect us. They have friends to protect them." The boy's father was speechless. Then the son added, "It showed me just how poor we really are." Now, I heard this story maybe a year or two back, and it really kind of made me stop. I was listening to either an audiobook or a podcast, and it really made me pause and think, kind of hit home for me. So I always kind of save this in my notes and I revisit it pretty regularly because too many times we forget what we have and we concentrate on what we don't have. And sometimes it just takes a small shift in perspective to remind us what's important. So I hope this little story made you think differently. I hope that it took some time out of your day to shift your perspective on something. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you found it helpful, please share it along to anyone else you believe it can serve. You can submit your own question to be answered on the show by going to ryankennedyhealth.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review for the show. Your feedback helps to support me on my mission to positively impact as many people as possible with this information. Please note, the information depicted in this episode is purely for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare professional before making any changes to your lifestyle or routine.